Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into something that has me seriously hyped.
Always. What got you so fired up?
The future of gaming. Specifically, how AI, generative AI in particular, might just revolutionize game graphics.
Oh, interesting. Generative AI for gaming. I'm intrigued. Where are you seeing this?
It's all over this article in Turtle's AI magazine,
Turtles.
which, as
I
always,
always have their finger on the pulse.
is serving up some seriously thought-provoking futurism, and this time they're really pushing the boundary.
Well, I'm all ears. What's the gist? What are they saying?
So it's not just about making games look a bit prettier.
Okay.
It's about fundamentally changing how those visuals are created.
Right, because even with the most powerful graphics cards out there, those RTX
Oh,
4090s,
I know, right?
developers are constantly battling to squeeze out ever more realistic graphics.
It's a never-ending arms race.
Right, and all those high-fidelity textures, the realistic lighting, the complex physics.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, it demands a ton of processing power. Even then, we're hitting a ceiling, like you said. So how does generative AI play into all of this?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. Instead of relying solely on raw computational power to render every detail, generative AI takes a different approach.
Okay, I'm listening.
It learns from massive data sets of real-world images, understanding the underlying patterns and aesthetics. It's like, instead of a developer painstakingly modeling every brick in a wall or every leaf on a tree.
The AI could, in theory, generate those assets in real time, on the fly, based on what it's learned.
Exactly. And it's not just static images. Imagine dynamic, reactive environments constantly changing based on player choices, all thanks to AI.
Whoa, okay, now that's what I'm talking about.
Right. Every playthrough would be a completely different visual experience unique to you.
Precisely. Imagine an open-world RPG where the weather changes dynamically based on your actions,
Oh, wow.
or where the architecture of a city adapts to your choices.
See, that's
That level of dynamic world
the
building
next level stuff.
could be groundbreaking.
Okay, that's already blowing my mind, but it gets even better.
Oh, there's more. It gets better.
Oh, yeah. The article mentioned something about AI being able to personalize art styles to a player's liking. Can you unpack that a bit?
Absolutely. Imagine playing, say, Red Dead Redemption,
Classic.
but with the cel-shaded comic book style of Borderlands.
Oh, wow.
Or experiencing the vast world of Elden Ring with the beautiful, painterly aesthetic of Okami.
Wow, that's next level customization.
Right.
If AI can really pull that off, we're talking about a whole new era of personalized gaming experiences.
And it's not just about catering to existing preferences. What if AI could even help developers create entirely new art styles, blending elements of different genres and aesthetics in ways we haven't even imagined yet?
That's incredible. This tech has the potential to democratize game development, allowing smaller studios with less resources to create visually stunning games. But this all sounds almost too good to be true. Are there any downsides?
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
we know game development is already a complex process. What kind of challenges does integrating AI bring into the mix?
You're right to be cautious. It's not all sunshine and roses. There are certainly challenges to consider. One of the big ones is maintaining visual consistency.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Game worlds are very deliberately designed, and while AI is powerful, it can still produce unexpected results if it's not carefully controlled.
So we're talking about making sure the AI doesn't accidentally generate a giant rubber ducky in the middle of a tense shootout.
Well, you get the idea.
Okay.
It's about striking a balance between the AI's creative potential and the need for a cohesive and intentional visual style.
That makes sense. What about the impact on game development timelines? Developing games is already a time-consuming process. Won't integrating AI into the workflow potentially slow things down?
That's a key question. Initially, yes, there's a good chance development times could increase. Game studios would need to adapt their pipelines, create new tools, and learn how to work effectively with AI.
Longer development times, huh? That makes me wonder, could this tech actually make games more expensive initially? Or could it eventually streamline the process enough to make development faster and more efficient? And what about accessibility for indie developers? Could this level the playing field, or would it make it even harder for smaller studios to compete? There's a lot to unpack there.
Absolutely. It's a complex equation with a lot of moving parts. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about a specific example of generative AI in action. The article highlighted NVIDIA's GauGAN project. Are you familiar with that?
It rings a bell, but refresh my memory. What's so special about GauGAN?
It's a fantastic illustration of generative AI's potential. Imagine sketching out a very basic landscape, a horizon line, some blobs for trees, maybe a few clouds. You feed that sketch into GauGAN. and it generates a photorealistic image based on what it's learned from real-world data.
Hold on, so I could doodle a mountain range on my tablet, and this AI could turn it into a breathtaking vista complete with snow-capped peaks and lush forests.
Precisely. And that's just scratching the surface. Think about the implications for game developers. Instead of needing artists to create every single tree, rock, and cloud, they could use AI to generate variations on the fly, populating vast game worlds with incredible speed and diversity.
It's like that DLSS tech on steroids, right? I remember when that blew everyone's minds using AI to upscale games to higher resolutions.
It's a good analogy. DLSS uses AI to intelligently guess what the missing pixels in a lower resolution image should look like, and it does a remarkable job. But generative AI takes it a step further. It's not just upscaling existing information, it's creating brand new content from scratch based on the rules and aesthetics it's learned.
So instead of just making things sharper, we're talking about AI potentially creating textures, lighting effects, maybe even character models, all in real time reacting to the game world as players interact with it. This is seriously making me rethink what's possible in gaming.
And here's where it gets even more interesting for you as a gamer. Imagine a world where your game could adapt its art style to your liking, on the fly.
Okay, now we're talking.
Do you prefer a more hyper-realistic look or something stylized, like a graphic novel or anime aesthetic? AI could theoretically tailor the experience to your preferences.
Whoa, that takes personalized gaming to a whole new level. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. As exciting as this all sounds, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room, or maybe it's a polka-dotted unicorn in the middle of a perfectly rendered forest. You mentioned earlier that AI can sometimes produce unexpected results.
That's right, and it speaks to one of the key challenges of integrating AI into game development, maintaining visual consistency and artistic intention. Game worlds are carefully crafted to evoke certain feelings and guide players through a specific experience. If the AI isn't carefully controlled, it could generate assets that clash with the overall aesthetic or even disrupt gameplay.
So it's not just about letting the AI run wild and create whatever it wants. There needs to be a balance between giving the AI creative freedom and ensuring that it aligns with the developer's vision.
Exactly. It's about collaboration, not replacement. The AI becomes a powerful tool in the artist's toolbox, but it's still the artists and developers who ultimately shape the game's look and feel.
That makes sense. So it sounds like there are definitely some hurdles to overcome, both technically and creatively. But even with those challenges, the potential here is enormous. Imagine a future where games are no longer these massive downloads hogging gigabytes of storage on our hard drives.
Yeah, tell me about it, right?
Because the article hinted at something pretty radical, AI potentially changing how we even download and store games. Did I get that right?
You absolutely did. Right now, games are packed with pre-rendered assets.
Right.
Textures, models,
Yeah,
audio files.
exact good stuff.
All that data takes up a ton of space. But what if instead of storing all of that locally, we could use AI to generate it on demand in real time?
Wait, so instead of downloading a 100 gigabyte behemoth,
Oh, easily.
I download, what, like a much smaller game engine?
Exactly.
And AI magically fills in the rest.
That's the concept.
Mm.
Imagine downloading a game that's perhaps a tenth of its current size.
Oh, wow.
You'll launch it, and as you traverse the game world, the AI generates those high-fidelity assets in the background
Oh, wow.
based on your location, your choices, even your system's capabilities.
That's wild. No more deleting half my hard drive to make room for the latest release. Sign me up for that future. But wouldn't that require an insane amount of processing power on the player's end?
It's a valid concern. But remember, generative AI is all about working smarter, not just harder. We're already seeing AI optimize tasks that used to demand brute computational force. It's not inconceivable that AI could handle this kind of real-time generation, especially as the technology advances.
Okay, that alone feels like a game changer. But stepping back, we've gone from talking about AI making games look a bit prettier to potentially revolutionizing how games are made, distributed, even experienced on a fundamental level.
And that's what's so exciting about this deep dive.
I know, right?
We're not just talking about incremental improvements. We're talking about potential paradigm shifts in the entire gaming ecosystem.
It's a lot to process.
I know, it's a lot.
But that's what we do here on the Deep Dive, right?
That's what we do, the heavy lifting.
We take these mind-blowing concepts and try to break them down, figure out what it all means, and maybe, just maybe, catch a glimpse of the future.
And the future of gaming, at least from this perspective, looks incredibly exciting. More immersive, more personalized, and potentially more accessible than ever before.
It definitely has me hyped. But now it's your turn to weigh in, listeners. Does the idea of AI generating your game worlds on the fly, tailoring the experience to your preferences, excite you? Or does it make you a little uneasy? Head over to our website and share your thoughts. We want to hear from you. Until next time, happy gaming.